All right. Hello, everybody. My name is Jared Cahan. I am the Rice Fields Base Manager for Rustic Pathways. We'd like to welcome you to this informational session on our programs in Southeast Asia. We are going to do a brief introduction of everybody who is online right now, and then we're going to tell you a little bit about Rustic Pathways, our programs in Southeast Asia, a little bit about our community service, and also how to sign up. I'll introduce myself first. I am the Rice Fields Base Manager. There's a couple programs that run out of there, including the Introduction to Community Service program and the Rice Fields Monks and Smiling Children program. I've been with the company for a little over a year, coming up on my second summer working at the base.
Awesome, and I'll go ahead and introduce myself next. Like I mentioned before, my name is Alexis, and I'm the Cambodia Country Director for Rustic Pathways. I've been with Rustic for over 3 years now. Started out as a program leader in Southeast Asia, and then moved into managing all of our Cambodia operations. So any students planning on coming to Cambodia this summer, there's a very good chance you'll see my face around.
My name is Bradon. I am our Burma Country Director. I've been working in Southeast Asia with Rustic for about 2.5 years, and previously worked in Thailand. Now I took over our Burma operations. Super excited for this summer.
Hi everyone, my name is Tara. I am the Country Director in Laos. Similarly, I started as a program leader 3 summers ago and transitioned into the managerial role in Laos after that. And I've been living in Southeast Asia on and off for the past 5 years.
Wonderful. If at any time anybody in the audience has any questions, you're able to type them into the question part of the webinar. We will try to answer as many as we can throughout and then immediately after. If we don't get to any, then we will make sure to follow up with an email. First, we're going to learn a little bit about Rustic Pathways. So Rustic Pathways has been around for 33 years. We are in 18 countries, and we have about 100 programs worldwide. In Southeast Asia, there are 18 in Thailand alone, 6 in Cambodia, 5 in Burma, 9 in Laos, and then we have 3 programs that pass through Vietnam. As you can see, we cover a lot of Southeast Asia, and we're really excited to offer these to you. Our mission statement. So we empower students through innovative and responsible travel experiences to positively impact lives and communities around the world. This is really important for us. Everything that we do falls under this mission. We think about this as a 2-part mission statement. So obviously, we are doing incredible community service, and we are really making a difference in these communities that we work in. But also, we want to do that through the student lens.
In terms of who is Rustic Pathways, if you ask us what really makes Rustic Pathways great, it's about the people. We're made up of a really diverse team of international program leaders, Western staff, and local program leaders who are from the countries and the actual villages that Rustic students travel to. And these local staff really enable us to create innovative, authentic, unique experiences on our programs. And they're really who Rustic students really connect with and what makes these programs special. Alongside of that, some of our full-time staff and our international staff are based in Southeast Asia. I know 3 of our directors are based in Asia, and that really enhances our knowledge and our grasp of the region and the culture.
Awesome. Another thing that makes Rustic really unique is our focus on partnerships with local organizations. So that really gives us a chance, to be involved with them and enables us to piggyback on the projects that already exist for them and what they're doing in those countries. So because of that, our students can really be a part of something bigger and maximize their time while they're over in Southeast Asia. So for example, from the ground up, a program in Cambodia, the students meet with different NGOs working in Phnom Penh, working on different projects. So the students will get to meet and learn from them. One of our wilderness medical programs in Thailand actually gets to work with different clinics in the area and helps do some health assessments and things like that. So the partnerships that we've created over there are very, very valuable for us. Another thing we love is passionate students. So we are lucky enough to have an amazing group of students every year who come over to Southeast Asia. And, they're just as excited as we are about this experience that's ahead for them. Our students, they're coming from all over the world. I think, last year we had students travel with Rustic from over 62 different countries. So that's really amazing to just get a diverse group of students from all different walks of life, coming all from around the world and being on this particular program together. So not only are the students visiting these new regions and meeting different people from those countries, but they're also meeting teens their age and going on that trip with them. So there's a very good chance, students, if you're on this information session tonight, there's a very good chance you will be with people from different countries, different states on your program, which is a really cool concept. All right, so the big question, why Southeast Asia? Like Jared mentioned, Rustic operates in many, many different countries, so why should you guys choose Southeast Asia? Well, we have some info for you. We have more students return year after year to Southeast Asia than any other region we operate in. And there's many different reasons for that. So just a couple is, we have all different types of programs in Southeast Asia geared for all different types of travelers. So we see a lot of people coming over for, maybe their first time away from home. They'll come to one of our base programs where it's, not so rugged, not so remote, get their feet wet in a new culture, in a new area. And then once they build up that confidence, get out of their comfort zone, come again the following year to go on more of those rugged, remote, off the map experiences. Another great thing about our Southeast Asia location is that it's very easy and inexpensive to connect programs to multiple countries. And we definitely recommend this as well. The hardest part of Southeast Asia is the flight to get over there. It takes many, many hours to get over there. So students, you guys will have the chance to watch lots of movies and hopefully get some rest on the plane. But while you're over there, once the plane gets there, you definitely want to make the most of your time. If you come for a week truly goes so fast. In the beginning, you're getting over jet lag, getting used to a new area. By the time you start feeling comfortable with yourself, it's time to get back on that plane and go home. The great thing is most of our programs do connect to each other, and Thursdays are our big travel days. So, you'll go on one program in Thailand. After the 2 weeks, that program will end, and then you have a really good chance to be able to connect it to a program in Laos or Myanmar or Cambodia. So it's really, really cool to be able to see different parts of the region for such a flexible and easy way to do it as well. The last thing I'd like to mention is Southeast Asia. All of the presenters on this call tonight, we've been living and working in Southeast Asia for a long time. And I think we can all say this very confidently, that Southeast Asia, it has some of the most welcoming and friendly people in the world. And that's really the magic for Rustic operating in this region. The local staff we work with, the people we're meeting in the communities and interacting with, they're just an awesome, awesome culture to get to know, and are very inviting into the experience. Awesome. So next, we're just going to go into each country, and everyone will get a chance to just tell you a little bit more about their country and kind of the differences, so you guys can make an informed decision as to what countries interest you the most. So we'll start off with Laos, and Tara will take it away for her country.
Thanks, Lexi. Lex, would you just check to make sure that your screen share is working? I'm having some trouble seeing your slides.
Yeah, no problem. Let me just fix that quick. Okay, how about now? Any luck?
Oh, yep. There we go.
You can see it now?
I can see it. Laos.
Okay. Yeah.
Awesome.
Let me just turn 1 sec. Technology was never my best friend, guys. We'll get it fixed. Okay, can you see it now?
Yeah, there it is.
Perfect.
Awesome. Okay, Laos.
Beautiful picture.
Heck yeah, it is. So Laos, Rusty Path has been operating in Laos for the past 8 years. I am privileged enough to work with an amazing team of local staff, of which there are 8 full time. They do come from some of the villages that we partner with, which is an amazing opportunity, as Lexi and Bradon mentioned, for our students to connect with the culture in Laos. It's the only landlocked country in Southeast Asia bordered by Thailand, Myanmar, Vietnam, Cambodia, and China, way to the north. It has the highest percentage of forest cover in the region. So as you can see from this picture, Laos is an incredibly green, lush country, very, very mountainous. It sort of has a Jurassic Park vibe to the landscape, which is magical. Once a part of French Indochina, so while you're traveling through Laos, you'll definitely notice sort of the colonial influence in the architecture and some of the food. You know, they drink a lot of coffee and eat French pastries in the morning, combined with, you know, one of the Luang Prabang is one of the largest concentrations of Buddhist monks in Southeast Asia, many, many temples, and a really sort of laid back vibe to the town. It is a UNESCO World Heritage Site, which is pretty amazing. They're preserving the entire peninsula of Luang Prabang, and it is consistently on one of the must-see destinations in the world, and I would urge everyone to come and explore Laos before too much development happens. It is a really, really special place that has developed a lot more slowly than other parts of Southeast Asia. So now is definitely the time to come and check it out.
I'll take over for Myanmar, Burma. Rustic Pathways, we refer to it as Burma. It's a former British colony, and Rustic Pathways has been operating here for over 10 years. Team Burma is actually one of our biggest teams in Southeast Asia. We have an incredibly talented staff of young guys who are super passionate about sharing their country. They're super entertaining, fun-loving, and they speak great English. Team Burma is just going to win over people left and right. About Burma, Myanmar has kind of a troubled history as well of a military rule, but fortunately, this is a really exciting time of change in Burma in that new leadership and the NLD is actually taking over and coming into parliament. So it's a really optimistic and hopeful time in Burma, especially for the youth and people seeing this progress. Programs in Burma are really unique in that other travel companies don't really go to these unique villages and places that our local staff and team enable us to go. So we're able to create really powerful, unique experiences through our team. The service programs in Burma are relatively new because people weren't allowed to do service in the past. So we just started last summer on our Irrawaddy Village Service Program, which is based around the village where Sotan and a couple other Burmese staff members are from. Really excellent program you should check out if you want to do service in Southeast Asia. It's also an incredibly diverse country with 130 different ethnic minority groups. So on a program like Tribal Issues or Hill Tribes of the Golden Triangle, you'd go up to northern Burma and get to experience this incredible diversity, visit some of these really remote locations and learn about people and what life is like in this war-torn region of the country that is really opening up and blossoming right now. And there, I'll hand it over back to Lexi. She can talk about Cambodia.
Awesome. Thanks, Braden. So Cambodia, most people who know me know that Cambodia has become a second home to me after all these years working over there. And I think, you know, it's definitely easy for our students to feel like that too after going on a program there. We've been operating in Cambodia since 1999. So quite a few years, began with just some touring programs, and then around 2010 or so really developed the Good Service Initiative programs. I think what makes Cambodia so great, I'd have to say, is definitely the local staff. I have an awesome team of 9 Cambodians that I get to work with on a daily basis, and they're just super knowledgeable about the country, but super passionate about their country as well. Thank goodness the food is not as spicy as Thailand or Laos. I would not be able to handle that. But let's see what else. Cambodia, the picture you're seeing here is Angkor Wat. Definitely, it's always on one of the list of one of the wonders of the world. So students on every program in Cambodia, you will get to see Angkor Wat and all the other famous temples in the area, which is really a must-see in Cambodia. You can't really come to Cambodia and not check out these amazing temples. The architecture is amazing. It used to be part of the French Indochina, and I think, I'd have to stress the biggest part of Cambodia. There was a genocide that occurred there in the 70s. So that's a big part of our learning on any program in Cambodia as well. So in the beginning of the trips, the students will come into the capital, Phnom Penh, really learn about what occurred during those times, hear stories of perseverance, and see those perseverance and people rising together today to, make a better future for themselves. And because of that, it's definitely the youngest population in Southeast Asia. I believe over 50% of Cambodia's population are under the age of 30. But because of that, also, the genocide that occurred, it's definitely the fastest growing economy in Southeast Asia. So every couple of months, whenever I go back, something is always different. But Cambodia is just a great country. The communities we work in for our service programs, we have really good partnerships with them, really good initiatives going on. The students get to see it all. They get to learn the history, get to get their hands dirty with their service work, and then get to have the nice touring at the end of Angkor Wat. So really good country, really, really amazing people, and I think students will feel right at home and welcome.
Okay, Thailand. I'm going to cover this one for our country director, Brian, who couldn't make the call this evening. He has over a decade of experience living and working in Thailand. And our programs in Thailand are incredibly diverse. Thailand itself is a pretty big country, comparatively speaking, to the rest of Southeast Asia, with the exception of Myanmar. During the summer in Southeast Asia, it is the rainy season, so you can expect the first half of the summer to be pretty hot as the hot season sort of comes to a close, and sort of by midsummer, the monsoon's picking up. And monsoon is just a term for seasonal rain that comes through for an hour or so every day, which is a welcome break from the sunshine in a lot of ways in some places. The food, Thai food is amazing. If any of you are thinking about coming to Southeast Asia this summer, I would highly suggest that you get to a Thai restaurant in your neighborhood or your city and start experimenting with the different types of food. It is just incredible, and there's endless possibilities that are so delicious. Thailand is affectionately known internationally as the land of smiles. A smile goes such a long way when you're traveling in general, but I think especially in Southeast Asia, where people are so warm and friendly, and it is their sort of their default is just to handle things with a smile. Thailand is the only country to not be colonized in Southeast Asia, whereas the rest of the countries were under British or French rule at one time or another during their history. And Thai people are extremely proud of that. It is a parliamentary monarchy system, home to the longest reigning monarch in the world, King Bhumibol Rama X. He's an older man now, but the Thai people really respect him and the entire royal family very, very much. And yes, as I said, our programs in Thailand are incredibly diverse, up through the mountains of northwestern Thailand on the Thai-Burma border, out to the east in the Isan region of northeast Thailand, way down to the islands in the south with some of the most beautiful beaches in the entire world, with these beautiful limestone karsts jutting out of the turquoise water. And then Chiang Mai, the city in the north, sort of the heart of Thai culture in that region. So there's definitely a lot to see all around Thailand, and definitely a wonderful place for first-time travelers and also repeat travelers alike. And quickly, just touching on Vietnam, it is our smallest operation in Southeast Asia. Um, but we do work with some pretty incredible Vietnamese people over in Hanoi and up in Sapa. So our programs focus in the north of Vietnam. Only a few programs will pass through there, the back roads of Southeast Asia and Wonders and Riches, um, and and snapshots of Southeast Asia will pass through there. Hanoi is kinetic. Um, the energy in Hanoi is pretty wild with all the motorbikes and the old architecture. Jetting out to Halong Bay, another UNESCO World Heritage Site. These beautiful, beautiful, limestone karsts in the bay, and taking a boat through there on the Wonders and Riches program is definitely a highlight for many students. Taking the overnight train into the Sapa region in northern Vietnam, they call it the Switzerland of Asia up there because the mountains and the greenery is so beautiful, and getting to get involved with a service project there is definitely pretty incredible for the students on the back roads of Southeast Asia program. So, like I said, it's a small operation. There is no Vietnam-centric programs, but the programs that do pass through there do highlight some of the things that are so special about the country.
Awesome. Thanks, Tara. So next, choosing a program. We all know it can be very overwhelming trying to make a decision. There's so many different programs in Southeast Asia alone that, you definitely don't know which program may be the best fit for you. So our goal of tonight is definitely to help you make a better informed decision. Definitely it is just a brief overview tonight. We're going to give you some tips and pointers, but we do encourage you guys to check out each specific itinerary of the programs you're interested in online. They'll have the day-by-day itineraries, more FAQs, some pictures, descriptions, and things like that. So once you use our pointers, definitely pick some programs out and feel free to check them out online. Like I said, we want you guys to make sure that the program you're choosing is the best fit for you. So students, if you're listening to the call tonight, I definitely encourage you to just sit down for a couple of minutes and think about what you really want out of the summer. Do you want service? Do you want to be immersed? Do you want to just do touring? Do you want to be with a small group? Do you want to be with a large group? What kind of living conditions do you want? Do you want a modern amenities and a nice bed and a Western toilet? Or would you like to rough it and sleep on the mattress pad with a mosquito net and try some amazing bucket showers and squat toilets? So definitely main things to think about are service types. If you're interested in service, we have a couple different types that we'll focus on. But in general, we have infrastructure service and we have education service. So different activities, English language exchange, team building activities. For infrastructure, we're going to be doing those construction projects in the communities. In general, our programs in Southeast Asia, they're going to be divided into three main classes. So the first class, service. Second class, we have some life skill programs. And third class, we have adventure programs. So we're going to take some time to introduce more of those programs. We're going to start out with community service. So for community service, in Rustic Pathways, we have different types of service initiatives, so education, infrastructure, community health, environment, social development, animal welfare. Awesome. Cool. So next, Bradon's going to focus on what service-based programs look like.
So in Southeast Asia, we have two core base houses that you can see on your screen here. The one on the right is the Rice Fields base, which is in north-central Thailand in the city of Udon Thani. So this is where we run Intro to Community Service and Rice Fields Monks and Smiling Children. Those are 1 week and 2 week programs. Our medical program also operates out of the Rice Fields base. The Rice Fields base is a really social atmosphere. You're interacting with big groups of people from all over. That's a big benefit of being at a base, is just the social life and the daily comfort and amenities you get there. You kind of get used to your routine and you get to know your service projects really well. The other base is the Children's Home, which is in northwest Thailand. It's about 3 hours from Chiang Mai. Here we operate the Rustic Pathways Children's Home, the Hill Tribe Support and Refugee Camp Experience, and the Children's Home and Elephant Sanctuary programs. So there's a 1 week program, a 2 week program, and the third one is a hybrid where you go to the children's home and you do an elephant experience. So the children's home in comparison is a little more rustic, sleeping arrangements with fans and mosquito nets. It's a little smaller capacity, but you also are interacting with about 20 Thai children who grow up in this facility year-round. And so that's a really unique aspect of the children's home is you get a Thai buddy and you're interacting with them throughout the week and learning their story and seeing how this place operates as a children's home for these kids from the surrounding hill tribe communities. It's a really cool project that we do and a really unique experience that every student goes away with.
We also have what we like to call rugged cultural immersion and service programs. So these types of programs, they really focus to get you really immersed into the community, into the culture, and give you an opportunity to see things and be a part of something that you normally might not have the chance to do as a typical traveler or tourist. With a lot of these, we're going to be doing village service work. You're going to be doing homestays where you're sleeping on the mattress pad with mosquito nets, eating with the families, taking the bucket showers, using the squat toilets, no electricity and things like that. So it is definitely more remote and rugged, and we do want you to be knowing what you're going to face going into those. But these programs are some of my favorite. The communities that we're going into, a lot of our local staff members are from these communities, or our family or friends definitely know these communities that we work in for the most part. And because of that, they have such a way to make the experience so much stronger. We're not just going into, for Floating Village, we're not just going into a random village we've never been before. We've been working there for years. We know the family. We stay with them every year. So our students getting to really bond with them makes the experience that much more rich. So yeah, like with these, you're getting to go to the place and really immersing yourself and getting to see what life is like, what the daily life is like for these communities. Just to name a few, Sticky Rice, that's in Laos, 2-week program. Floating Village is in Cambodia, 2-week program. Our Come With Nothings, that's going to be our 3-week long programs. So with those, the students get the opportunity to live and work in 3 different communities during their time. Irrawaddy Village, that's in Myanmar, and Cambodia Children's Project, self-explanatory, that's going to be in Cambodia.
So Rustic Pathways has a few different programs that work with elephants, one of the most incredible animals in the world. There's 4 programs that we'll talk a little bit about. So the Thai Elephant Conservation Project is a 1-week program. It's our longest standing elephant program. We've been doing it for about 16 years. On this program, students have an opportunity to train with mahouts, who are the people that take care of elephants and really create that lifelong bond. We have a version of this program called the Elephants in Amazing Thailand Adventure, which is the same week working with the Thai elephants, but then connecting with more of a tourism program, going to some of the most incredible places in Bangkok and around Thailand. We have a new program this year where students will spend a week at our children's home and then go to an elephant sanctuary. That's called the Children's Home and Elephant Sanctuary Project. That is also a 2-week option. And then our program in Laos, our only program that works with elephants in Laos, will be the Laos Elephant Retreat and the Luang Prabang. This is more of a conservation program. There's not going to be any riding of elephants, but learning how elephants are taken care of in Laos. Elephants, just so you know, are, especially the ones we work with, are domesticated. They love people. They're very social. Their mahouts have a great rapport with them. This is really important, obviously, for the safety of our students, and we've had some incredible opportunities to work with these elephants.
Okay, I'm going to take a minute to talk about our life skills development programs. of which there are two in Southeast Asia. The first is medical service and wilderness first aid, and this is taking a public health approach to learning about life and culture in Southeast Asia. The wilderness first aid course is run by Wilderness Medical Associates, and it runs like a course. There will be classwork and prep that happens every day as you learn about the different bodily systems and how to care for everything from burns and scratches to stings and bites, hypothermia, extreme weather, broken bones, and anything that can happen in a more rugged wilderness setting. This program takes place at our Ricefield service base, so there's plenty of space to do the practicums for the course and learn about public health in northeastern Thailand, which is the poorest region of Thailand. This skills program is great for students who are considering healthcare, public health, international development, anything like that down the line, just to connect public health and travel and service is super powerful. The Snapshots of Southeast Asia is our photography program in the region. This is a great way to build a photography portfolio. There will be professional photographers doing workshops with the students on these programs, small assignments and critiques with the group. It's a very supportive and collaborative atmosphere on these programs. Some students will bring their own camera, but you don't need a fancy one by any means. Just a point and shoot or whatever camera you want to bring is more than welcome. And you'll see a couple of different countries over the course of this program, so it makes for some really beautiful photographs while learning more about life and culture in Southeast Asia.
All right, next we've got academically focused programs. Two core programs here that are really geared towards older, more mature students who really know that they're interested in these topics. But I think these are two of our most powerful programs that we operate. From the Ground Up takes place in Cambodia. It's focused on NGO work and students who are really curious about development work. So you learn about issues that the NGOs are tackling in Phnom Penh, and the students work hands-on to execute a project there around these issues that they're learning about. They really get to see a seminar in global development and the full start-to-finish process and what goes into it. The other one is Tribal Issues that takes place in both Thailand and Burma. So this program is more for students who are into journalism, documentary work, and human rights. This really focuses on people who are marginalized communities, either through the military in Burma or ethnic fighting along the border. And this really is about interviewing people, learning about their story, and trying to document a project through your experiences and your travels on this 2-week journey across the region. From visiting NGOs that work with political prisoners to remote communities and families along the border, and learning and just hearing the diverse range of stories and how people live and how they're affected. This is a really powerful program, and you really get to experience some unique places and stories on these both. Next, I'll hand it back to Lexi.
We also have some programs that focus on cultural rich adventures, and some of these programs have a little bit of community service or no service at all. So these are going to be your travel programs, but they really strive to focus on that immersion into the culture. So each one of those, you're going to get to visit a couple different countries, but they're going to get to travel and get immersed and really learn about the issues in these countries, partake in different visits places, learn about Buddhism, see the temples, and then for Soccer's Beyond Borders, you'll be learning about the communities, the issues, but then you'll get to play soccer throughout Laos and Thailand, which is pretty awesome. So we have some things arranged where you'll play with some local teams, you'll play with local communities, have some trainings for students and things like that. Backroads of Southeast Asia, that really focuses on just the immersion into That one goes all over. That one's 3 weeks long. So Thailand, Myanmar, Laos, and Vietnam. And again, for this trip, they're not just going to all the major sights and sounds. They're going on the back roads, for lack of a better word, off the beaten track and really getting immersed into this culture. And then Hill Tribes of Golden Triangle. That's another great one. Gets to visit 3 different countries, so Laos, Thailand, and Myanmar. And it's only 1 week long, but it's a really good program for students who want to see a lot in such a little time and get to see the different cultures of those 3 regions. So again, even though they're travel, it's definitely focused on making the most out of their experience and really learning about what each country is.
Our adventure programs are pretty spectacular. We do have a few that stay in one country or hop around to a few. The Wonders and Riches of Southeast Asia is definitely for an older group of students who want to see sort of the best of Southeast Asian sites. This is a very comfortable program.
Muted.
Students are staying in very nice hotels, traveling by air through Thailand, Laos, Cambodia, and Vietnam. The island hopping and diving program focuses its time in southern Thailand, so there is a lot of beautiful islands to explore in both the Andaman Sea and the Gulf of Thailand. Kayaking, rock climbing, world-class rock climbing, and of course scuba diving with some of the most diverse marine life here in this part of the world in Southeast Asia. So if any of you are interested in that, I highly recommend it. Amazing Thailand is a 1-week program. As Jared said, it does connect to the Elephant program or is a great add-on to any other program in Southeast Asia. This is 1 week beginning in Chiang Mai, going up to the mountains of Chiang Dao for an overnight, and then exploring the Golden Triangle region before heading down to Bangkok. I'd say, having lived in both Bangkok and Chiang Mai at this point, both cities are really amazing. You really get a good feel for the energy and the excitement of Thailand, and seeing all of the beautiful sights and trying the different foods is pretty incredible. The Southeast Asian Adventure Program is new this year. It does travel to the south of Laos, which is one of the more beautiful parts of the country, and this is our only program that goes there. It is full of waterfalls. You can't take a step without bumping into some beautiful cascading falls in southern Laos. And then there will be zip lining and trekking through coffee plantations in the Bulawan Plateau, and followed by heading up north to the Luang Prabang, through Chiang Mai, and down to the south of Thailand for some adventure rock climbing and snorkeling as well. So if you're a high energy type of person, I would highly recommend you checking out the Southeast Asian Adventure Program.
All right. As you can see, we have an unparalleled presence in Burma. As I mentioned before, our local staff really enables us to have this unique presence. The picture you're looking at is Bradon. Bradon, it happens to be where our team is based and where many of our guys are from. It's one of the most picturesque landscape views in Southeast Asia. For sunset, for example, you could sit on the top of one of these pagodas that's actually made for people visiting and see these sunsets. That's absolutely breathtaking. One of the most famous photos in Burma. What makes it a must-see destination right now is the fact that Burma was closed off to the world for so many years when it was under military rule that it really hasn't developed. It's really like visiting a place that's going back in time where it's very untouched. However, tourism is expanding and growing in Burma very rapidly right now. So that's why they say right now is the must-see time. Get it while it is still pure and untouched before McDonald's and Starbucks is everywhere. Burma is that place that's really unique in Southeast Asia. And our staff will take you to the places that you don't go on the typical tourist route. We're not going to the big cities. We're going to the villages. We're going to people's homes, eating lunch with their family. And those experiences are really what are going to set apart Rustic Pathways from a group package tour that you could do with anybody else. Another thing about Burma, if you're curious about safety or questions, if it was under this military rule, Burma now, with our staff, we are taking you to only places that we've been before, that we've gone with students for the last 10, 15 years that we know are safe. We don't go anywhere near ethnic fighting. We don't go with students that are unchaperoned. We are always there with you by your side. We also work with International SOS for constant updates. If there's any ethnic disturbances, fighting in any region, we don't go near there. If there are updates on protests or demonstrations, we make sure to avoid those. So we are constantly aware of current events and going to places with locals who know what is safe and reasonable for tourists. If you have any questions about safety in Burma, I'm happy to answer them specifically with you individually as well.
Unmuted.
Awesome. What we love hearing most is hearing about the students' stories when they come off of these experiences. You know, our goal is for these students to have impactful experiences, life-changing experiences, and really just get that ball rolling to have them thinking about travel in the future, think about responsible tourism, think about development, think about service and how to do it good and all of those good things. But ultimately, you know, we just want to start that positive impact in their life. So students, you know, when they come off of these experiences, we love to have them stay connected. And some of the different ways we do that, you know, we have a Rustic Pathways Foundation where we're focused on providing funding for 6 different projects in the countries we work in. Some of our students have been very dedicated. You know, they have ties. Let's say they went to the Children's Home Project in Thailand, so they're fundraising for that cause because that's near and dear to their heart. So students, you know, they become ambassadors for the Rustic Pathways Foundation and are helping to raise funds to provide those projects and see it come to fruition. You know, we also have a huge alumni association. So once these students come back, we want to keep that momentum going, and we don't want the fuel to burn out. So alumni association is an awesome way for students to stay involved after their programs end. We'll give them opportunities for different service initiatives going on in their areas, their cities, their states, different internship opportunities, or you know, different volunteer opportunities and things like that. Let's see. Another thing, you know, is they are really inspired to come off these programs and just make a change in their own personal lives. So we've heard many, many stories of students, you know, coming home and they've never volunteered before, doing service on their trip with Rustic Pathways was the first time they've ever done any type of service, and now they're coming home and volunteering on a regular basis, or they're even starting their own clubs in schools. So it's definitely possible, you know, to keep that momentum going after the program ends, and we definitely encourage that as well. All right, so now I'm going to hand it over to Jared. Now that we talked a little bit more about the programs and different types of programs, he's going to just explain how it works. So you're interested, you want to sign up for a program, what do you do next? Jared's going to tell you all that good stuff.
All right, thanks, Alexis. So what do you do? So it is pretty easy.
Muted.
You go to our website, rusticpathways.com. All of our programs are listed there with the country that they're in. There's itinerary and packing lists and even more information than we were able to provide on specific programs. You sign up online. So under each country, there's going to be different dates that are offered. These dates are going to have a box next to it saying whether there's limited availability, whether it's sold out or not, or whether there's a lot of space. There's no quote-unquote deadline for registration. It's really about availability. If there is room for your student, then sign on up. Unfortunately, if there's not room, that means that we are at capacity for that week on that program. But all of that is pretty clearly outlined online. So there is an enrollment fee. So it's a one-time fee, however. So if you travel with us in the future, you never have to pay it again. On February 29th, that fee is going to go from $100 to $200. However, for you, wonderful participants in our webinar, we will be sending all of you a special link that will waive that fee entirely. So if you sign up before the 29th, and you would usually have to pay $100, if you use that link, it will be there will be no fee. And after the 29th, when you would usually have to pay $200, if you use that link, it'll also be no fee. So that's awesome. I'm going to touch a little bit on flights. So we are a travel, we do offer a lot of travel programs, and so you have to fly, obviously. So our flights are group flights, and we require students to fly on a chaperone flight that we accompany them on. There are various airports that we use around the country, around the U.S., JFK and LAX. These are port airports. The way it works is that it is your responsibility to get your student to whatever airport it is that you're flying out of, whether it's JFK or LAX. And then we accompany them to the country that they're flying to. We make it a really smooth process. They'll be wearing a Rustic Pathways shirt. They'll see a bunch of people at the airport. They'll get really excited, make a bunch of new best friends. We will check them in and fly with them over to the country that they're going to and transition them to their program. It'll be the exact same thing on the way back. We have our flight team that meets them at the airport in Southeast Asia and flies them back home. One exception to this is if you are starting your travel from outside the United States, you would actually do your flights yourself, and we can work with you on exactly what that means and the logistics behind that. But for everybody that is traveling from the United States, we fly on group chaperone flights. The next thing I'll talk about is our personal travel advisors. So signing up a high school student or college-age student for our programs obviously requires some paperwork and some registration deadlines and some just their baby visa information and things like that. We have an incredible team, an absolutely incredible team based out of Ohio called the Personal Travel Advisors. They are going to be your best friend. I'm not kidding. You're going to talk with them probably every day. You're going to become friendly with them and create this really deep bond. They're going to help you with all of those various items of paperwork and the registration process. That is after registration. So after you've registered for the program, your PTA, as we call them, will be your go-to person. And finally, I think this goes without saying, have an incredible trip. Please let us know if you have any questions, and we'll go over questions, but make sure to sign up. Our programs are incredible. I'm honored to be a part of the Southeast Asia team. Not only our incredible international staff, like the people who are on this webinar, but the local staff who have welcomed me, and I'm sure all of my colleagues, with open arms and are eager to welcome your students as well to their countries and their communities. Yeah, so thank you so very much for listening to this webinar. If you have additional questions, we're going to go through a few of them in the question box, and then anything we don't get to, we will send like a follow-up email or work with the family individually. One of the questions that's just come up a couple times, which I'll touch on, is about safety and risk management. And Bradon went into it a little bit with Burma. I just wanted to expand on that. So obviously, safety is our #1 priority at any given time. We will never compromise a student's safety for any portion of the trip. We do everything under the paradigm of, is this safe for our students, and how can we manage that risk? Obviously, there is an inherent risk in traveling. Our job is to manage that risk. We do it in a few different ways. Bradon touched on International SOS, which is a medical resource organization that provides a lot of information not only to us on the ground for various health issues or best places to go for something that happened, but also they provide a portal to each family for recommendations for vaccines, what the CDC may say, what the State Department is saying about the political climate and what's going on in that region. They're an incredible, incredible resource. Every student is going to be enrolled in this program, and every family will have access before going on the programs. We also have a global director of risk management who oversees all of our risk management policies across the company, make sure that everything from vendor registration and our hotels are in line, any type of adventure things that we do, basically just overseeing all of our risk management. On the ground is really important. On the ground, all of our program leaders are going to be at least CPR first aid certified. And then many of them, including those programs that are about 2 hours, over 2 hours from like an international or Western style medical center, will be something called a wilderness first responder, or even a higher type of medical training. So we are able to do obviously a lot on the ground, and anything that we are unable to fully take care of on the ground, we will go to the closest clinic or medical center, and we have all of these plans, risk management plans, evacuation plans, things like that for basically every minute of the program that the students are on. I'm just going to turn it over to, oh, sorry about that. So another question, I'll just answer a few more, sorry. Another question is, how's the traveling to Thailand? How many hours? So it's not a short amount of time. We're not going to kid you. It'll take about a full day with layovers and things like that. We do recommend or suggest that if you're coming over to Southeast Asia, maybe you look at something a little longer than a week. Some of our programs are a week, and all of our programs are designed to combine, but it probably makes a little more sense to be there for at least 2 weeks, just to get over the jet lag. By the time you get there, you sleep that one night, maybe you have a little jet lag the second night. By the time you know it, you have to turn around and go back. The average flight cost is through our program is approximately $1,500 to approximately $2,000. This obviously covers the flight round trip, but then also our program leaders and our flight leaders and our staff on the ground there as well. In terms of visas, and this will be the final question that I'll answer here, but I'll make sure to get you the answers to your questions in a follow-up email or a conversation with the families. In terms of visas, we provide the information for visas, and we will help each family with that registration to get the visa. The only country that you need a visa ahead of time that we travel to on these programs is Burma, and those students that are traveling to Burma, we will work with their families to make sure that they get the appropriate visa. The other ones, Thailand, Laos, Cambodia, are visa on arrival. Okay. Again, thank you so very much for listening to our webinar. We hope that you have learned a little bit more about us and our programs. We look forward to hopefully seeing many of you or your students on our programs this upcoming summer, and we will make sure to follow up with the families individually for the questions that we couldn't get to. But I think I can speak for all of us when we say we just really appreciate you taking the time to listen to us talk about these incredible programs. So thank you very much.